Welcome to another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Alright? Drink poured for this one. You know what I'm saying? One time for the crib homies. Y'all know us gangsters, we don't red cup. We do blue cups. You know what I'm saying? 8 ball way. How about that? Alright, now look. So, who this drink gonna be sponsored by? Well, we got the Tito's in the building. We got about a half tank. Let's go. All right. Now look. So for this one, this is gonna be another prison story, but I'm gonna be telling y'all how all of this unfolded, man. It's crazy how everything happened for a reason. Well, with this one, this gonna be about how my little homie Dre got killed and how I ended up running into one of the guys that he committed this crime with in prison. You know what I'm saying? How about that? All right. So y'all know we got to start everything from the top so it all makes sense. All right, now with the situation, what I was saying about my little homie Dre, I done talked about Dre multiple times. I done did a video on him and everything. I I really don't remember the title of the video, but it was something along the lines when I was saying my little homie basically wanted to live out my life. He wanted to do the things that I did. You know what I'm saying? And it ended up costing him his life. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, with that being said, like I said, if y'all want to go to the beginning about him, y'all can go check out that video. You know what I'm saying? But for this one, I'm gonna be telling y'all how he got killed. And I ran into his mans that he was with the night that he got killed. All right? Now, let's go back to the time frame when it happened. That was 2013. I got locked up 2011. So I'm off the streets. I don't got nothing to do with nothing that's going on out here. After 2011, I had nothing to do with nothing, right? So I'm in prison. I'm doing my time. Lil Dre found me while I was in there. He writing me, sending me pictures, all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So we going back and forth. We writing each other back and forth. We didn't talk on the phone as much. We did a lot of writing. You know what I'm saying? So we going back and forth. I'm telling him, I'm like, look, I hope you ain't on none of this shit that I was doing, before I got locked up. Anything that I showed you, unlearn that shit, you know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna be the result. Either you gonna die out here or you gonna be in prison with me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling him all of the right shit to do, all of that, right? The whole time he write me back, big bro, I ain't on none of that. I seen what happened to you. I seen you had got shot up. The next thing you know, you went to prison. It was like that shit scared the fuck out of me. I would never want to be in that. Blah 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 blah. These is the letters that we having. Over the past 2 years that I've been gone. So I got locked up in 2011. He died in 2013, right? So maybe it was about a year and a half worth of letters that me and him was writing back and forth to each other, right? Well, while I'm gone, he telling me what's going on in the hood. My bad. That's the pull up. He was telling me about, what's going on in the hood, people flipping and shit, all type of shit. He was also telling me about one of the homies from the block. One of the homies got laced up, you know what I'm saying? And the homie turned on me. The homie like, I'm gonna kill him when he get out. Talking about me, he going around telling the whole hood this shit. And dog laced up, so everybody know, he was laced up. He was on some bullshit. But Lil Dre writing me and telling me this shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else telling me this happened to bro. I wouldn't even have known if Lil Dre wasn't writing me and telling me that dog got laced up since I've been gone. You know what I'm saying? But he telling me like, yeah, dog, going around telling people we gonna kill you when you get out. Woo, woo. Like, me and Dre, he was telling me what was going on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Now let me throw this in there real quick. With the situation that I was saying about the guy that got laced up, he going around telling people he was gonna kill me and all that. When I got out, I ran right up on him. The nigga ran away from me, and we never had a problem. So I cut him off since then. You know what I'm saying? We never kicked it, none of that. The nigga fucked up. He laced up and he fried, you know. But that was just a little sidebar. I just had to throw that in there, you know. But yeah, he got laced up, and I don't know. I guess he was trying to take my street cred and go around and tell people he was gonna whack me and all this shit, thinking it was gonna get him some notoriety, I guess. But it just tanked his ass. So anyway, moving on from that, you know. So Dre just writing me, telling me what's going on in the streets, you know, things like that. We going back and forth. We being positive about everything. You know, I'm giving him positive messages. He sending me back positive messages. You know, I'm telling him like, you know, don't be in the streets. That shit ain't what's up. That shit dead. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, look, I got a job with my uncle, with my daddy. Damn, I'm about to say his uncle, with my daddy. Now, I know his daddy. You know what I'm saying? His daddy always on the block with us. He had the cool dad. You know what I'm saying? Like his mom's, she had got with a new guy, and Dre Daddy is the baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? Dre Daddy always come over there. Never had no problems with the new boyfriend, none of that. Dre Daddy was the cool baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? And he always be on the block with us. So he knew we was doing all of that shit. And his daddy, you know, fuck with cars and shit. Like that was his thing. And he was doing that when we was young, you know. So when Dre told me he got a job working with his daddy, you know, messing with the cars and shit, you know, mechanical, collision, you know, painting, all of that type of stuff. His daddy fuck with all of that, you know. So when he told me he got a job with his daddy doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, big. You know, that was a certified step because I know his daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, Dre good. His daddy picked him up. His daddy seen that the streets dried up. You know, the block did. You know what I'm saying? I'm in jail, the homie's gone, you know, he pick his son up. Hey, all right, son, you seen how the streets work. Niggas go to jail, niggas die off. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, okay, big. Dad picked him up. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. Got him out the streets. He out the way. You know what I'm saying? And this what Dre preaching to me in all the letters. He like, man, I'm in school doing good. I'm working with my daddy. I'm making money. I'm saving. He like, man, I'm gonna have something put up for you when you get out, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, damn, my little homie, you doing good. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Well, whole time he was lying to me. All them letters he was writing, he was lying. He was still in the streets. He still was doing that one shit. You know what I'm saying? He was on that tip, robbing shit, you know? So he ended up hooking up with these other two guys that he met wherever, however, I don't know, you know, probably through school or something, I don't know. But two other guys, he know, he linked up with them, you know, on some robbing shit, because they was robbing too. They had chop shops and all that shit too. The chop shop was the thing back in that time, you know what I'm saying? So he hooked up with these other two guys. One of the guys named B. Johnson. I remember his name because this the guy I ran into in prison later on, but tell y'all how this go, you know. So B Johnson and the other guy, I don't remember who the other guy was, but them two they hooked up with Dre, you know, on that robbing slash chop shop type shit, right? So this what they doing. Well, Dre got a cousin named Donald. Donald was built just like Dre. Dre might have been like 5'6", 5'7". Mind you, Dre was only 15 at the time, so he might have been 5'6", 5'7", light skin, looked like Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? Donald was like Tiger and Chris Brown, real shit. You know, um, Donald he wasn't cut like that. He just used to come on the block all the time, come fuck with us. Like he loved us. You know what I'm saying? We fuck with him. So every time he came on the block, it was all love. This was Dre cousin. You know what I'm saying? He used to play football, all type of shit. He wasn't cut like us, you know, but he just used to love to be around us. He used to claim the block when he was over there with us and all type of shit, but he just wasn't like that, you know. So anyway, They ended up tagging Donald. They call him Don for short. They ended up tagging Don along with this shit too. Mind you, Don ain't cut like that. You know what I'm saying? But he Dre cousin. He always around the street niggas, and you know what I'm saying. Now he getting in the mix of the street shit, right? So all four of them, Dre, Don, B Johnson, and the fourth guy. Like I said, the guy I don't know who he was. All four of them, they together. They riding around robbing shit, you know, carjacking, chop shopping shit up, getting paid. This is what they doing. You know what I'm saying? But on the low, Dre telling me that he in school, he working with his daddy, he doing good. He ain't on none of that bullshit. The whole time, he on that bullshit, right? This is the true definition of what's done in the dark always come to light. You know what I'm saying? So while I'm in prison, Dre feed me all these lies, telling me he doing good and he ain't involved and blah blah blah. The whole time he was. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, one night they riding around this shit. You know what I'm saying? They decide that they gonna get this one specific car. They wanted this Charger. It was a newer Charger at the time, this 2013. So it was like a 2012, 2013 Charger at the time. The body style on them cars, they changed like 2011, you know. So from like the '06 to like 2010, that was one generation of the Charger. Then like 2011 to like 2015 was another generation of the Charger. So at that time, them was the new generation Charger. You know what I'm saying? Dre decided they gonna get that generation Charger. That was the new one. That was the new generation at that time. He decided that's what they gonna get. So they riding around looking for it. One night they run into one, right? I guess they in the Stoli or something. Dre was driving. Don, B Johnson, and the fourth guy. They all in the car. All four of them. They spot the Charger. The guy is driving the Charger. Windows tinted, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So you can't see in it, none of that. They decide they decide to follow this guy to his house. Well, follow him wherever he was going. But he ended up going to his house. So they followed him all the way to his crib, right? Come to find out, this was an undercover cop. But they followed this guy all the way to his house, thinking, well, as soon as he pull over or whatever, you know, he stops somewhere, we're gonna rob his ass, pull off in his car. But that wasn't the situation. This was an undercover cop. So he knew that they was following him. You know what I'm saying? So he did it the right way. He took them to his house on his property. When he pulled up in his driveway, Dre and them pulled up behind him. Dre jumped out. The other guys, they didn't. Dre was the one that jumped out. He ran up on the car. Like he was on that tip. You know what I'm saying? He ran up on the car. He run up on the driver's side. Boom, mind you, the window's tinted, so he can't see what's going on in there. Boom. Get the fuck out the car, blah, blah, blah. Dog not budging. Dre shoot in the car. Boom. He shot in the car. The bullet missed the guy. You know what I'm saying? It like hit the headrest. You know what I'm saying? When that happened, the cop, the guy in the car, the undercover cop, he pulled his gun, he shot back. Boom. He shot Dre right in the forehead. Dropped him right there. Dead and gone. Instantly, right? When that happened, the other three guys, they took off running. So I'm assuming by this time, while Dre was doing all that, they was getting out the car, probably trying to get ready to, you know, get Dog out the car so they could take his car. And, you know, this is probably what they preparing to do at this time. But Dre ended up getting shot and killed right in their face. So when he dropped, they took off running, all three of them. They left the car that they was in, all that, took off running. Of course, they ain't getting nowhere far. The police caught all of them, brought them into custody. All right. That's how the situation happened, right? This might have been like a week later. I call home, checking on the family, you know, seeing how everything going. Mind you, I don't know that Dre did. You know what I'm saying? He dead and gone. I don't even know this shit, right? I'm checking on the family. They're like, yeah, everything good over here, but it's a whole lot of people on the block. This is what my mama saying. I'm calling home. I'm like, it's a lot of people on the block. Now, mind you, I ran that block. You know what I'm saying? And right before I got locked up, the block was dead. Everybody was gone. Like it was over with. You know what I'm saying? Me and Dre, we was the last one standing on the block. So I know that that wasn't a block out there. So I'm like, what the fuck you mean? There's a lot of people out there. You know what I'm saying? I banged the line on my mom. Boom. Called my homie from the block. I'm like, what's going on over there? He like, man, we out here having a balloon release for Drake. Now, let me bag it up a little bit. I forgot to throw this in there. The guy that I'm talking about, his name is Shank. You know what I'm saying? Before this situation happened, I called I called Shank one time. This was in between the time when Dre was running around robbing and doing this shit, getting his money, but lying to me. I called Shank one time and I asked him, I'm like, hey, what's going on out there? And, he like, man, streets dry, but he like, yo, little nigga Dre, that nigga out here getting me. I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah, I don't know what he doing, but that nigga, he like, bro, that nigga be having thousands of dollars on him. He be in the newest whips. He be trying to shoot dice with us. That nigga pull out bankrolls. You know what I'm saying? He like, dog, what the fuck you got that nigga on? Like, he been out here winning ever since you been in prison type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit, he told me he working with Pops. You know what I'm saying? And Shank know his Pops. So he like, oh, okay, that's what he did. Woo, woo. He hooked up with Pops. Woo, woo. I'm like, yeah, that's what he been telling me in the letters and shit like that. So that's how me and Shank pieced that one out. Like, oh, okay, Pops got them together. That's why he already get money. But I threw that in there to say this. That whole time with Dre out here with all that money and the whips and all of that, that's because he was robbing shit. You know what I'm saying? And he got addicted to that shit. He had hit him with a couple of good leaks. He was up. He was doing it. So he was addicted to it. He just kept doing the shit. But he lying to me because he knew I would have got on his ass. You know what I'm saying? So he lying to me, telling me that he working with his daddy and he going to school, but the whole time he out here robbing everything. You know what I'm saying? So when my mans told me that, I was like, damn, straight, he doing it like that or working a job. But like I said, this is daddy. So he probably put a couple extra dollars in his pocket. Okay. Now, fast forward to tape. I'm on the phone with Shane. He telling me Dre got killed. They having a balloon release for him. I'm like, what the fuck you mean he got killed? So we talking about that. He told me the story. This is when I found out what happened. He telling me this during the balloon release. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dog, I'm like, when you told me he was out here getting money and doing all that, I'm like, now all that shit makes sense. That's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? He like, yeah. He like, man, that nigga must have been out here robbing shit ever since, cause he been getting money ever since you was gone. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So the robbing shit caught up to him. He got killed. Then it all came out. You know what I'm saying? Because he got killed. And the other guys that he did the shit with, they got locked up. All right, now that they locked up, they in the county jail. When Shane told me what was going on, I'm like, man, if I run into them niggas, I'm gonna kill them niggas. You know what I'm saying? Shane like, bro, don't jack your rig. Woo, woo, woo. Just come on, just in case you do run into them. Just come on. Don't be on that. Woo, woo. Mind you, this 2013, so I still got that mindset in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm maturing, but I still be on that tip. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I'm gonna rake them niggas if I catch them. You know what I'm saying? Well, here it is, a year later. It's 2014 now. I get out 2015, but it's 2014. I ride out from the prison I was at to a new prison. I done said this before. I had to ride out to this new prison, Lapeer Correctional Facility. Lapeer is like right next door to Flint. So y'all know where Flint, Michigan at. Lapeer is right next door to Flint. So they transported me to Lapeer to carry out this violent offender program. And that was the prison that had the program for me to get my parole, right? Okay, this a year later. My mind frame didn't change. I done grew up a lot since then. I had to chalk it up. Dre gone. It is what it is. So I ain't even on the same shit I was on a year ago. And I'm a couple of months away from going home at this point. So my whole mentality didn't change since that year and some change ago when the situation happened with Drake. I'm on my way out the door. Mind frame didn't change. I done grew a little older, got a little more wisdom. I ain't on that no more. You know what I'm saying? I need to go home. You know what I'm saying? It's my time. So I get to the pier, right? They enroll me in the class. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I told y'all about the spud juice. This was around that same time. I almost got caught with the spud juice like a week before I got to this. I went to see the parole board and I ended up coming from under that shit. I ain't had to snitch on nobody. I didn't get caught with it. It was just the way how this shit happened. And like I said, I talked about the spud juice. So for y'all that just tuned in and don't know, go watch my video about the spud juice and you can corroborate everything I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't make up shit, you know. So anyway, I uh I beat the spud juice thing. I go see the parole board. I get a parole. Guys work. Swear to God, I was not supposed to get that parole. You know what I'm saying? But I did, right? So now I'm super on ice. Like, I ain't involved in shit. Don't mention me. I put my headphones on. I walk the yard by myself. I work out by myself. I wasn't doing nothing with nobody when I got my parole. You know what I'm saying? They give you your parole like 5 months before your out date. So I went 5 months straight, just out the way, not fucking with nobody, doing me. You know what I'm saying? Well, right after I got the parole, hold on. Y'all know some of my timing be off, but I don't be lying about shit. Let me bag it up a little bit. So with Lapeer, right? Lapeer holds the juveniles as well as the adults. So with Lapeer Correctional Facility, you got half of them juveniles and half of them adults, right? And it's a gate that split the juveniles from the adults. So the juveniles be anywhere from like 15 to 17. When they turn 18 and if they still in prison, then they transport them on the other side of the gate to the adult side, right? Now, when we have yard, that gate right there, we can see each other. Us, the adults, we can see the juveniles. The juveniles can see us. So they come up to the gate and we get to talking, shit like that. But we can't be, just sitting there kicking it at the gate, shit like that. We got to walk around and, talking calls and shit like that. But we could talk to the juveniles through the gate. You know what I'm saying? Well, with all that being said, one of my homies that was on the yard with me, he knew about the situation with Dre and all of this shit, right? Well, he told me, he like, man, he like, them niggas that was on the case for that Dre shit, he was like, they over there. You know what I'm saying? On the other side of the gate. Cause this the only place where the juveniles go. Now, what happened with B. Johnson and Don and the other guy, they ended up getting like 6 years for the shit, like 6, 7 years, Um, they didn't charge them with much because they didn't do shit. They was just in the car, and Drake got himself killed. So they only got like 6, 7 years. On top of it, they said that Don snitched, you know what I'm saying? So they didn't get much time. But anyway, Lapeer is the only prison in Michigan that holds juveniles until they become adults. So my man's, he like, bro, whoever B. Johnson and them, he like, they over there on the other side of the gate. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, straight up. He like, yeah. He like, matter of fact, I'm gonna find out who the fuck they is. Cause he fucked with some of them juveniles. Now this the thing. In the school building and prison, the juveniles and the adults go to school together. So they pass notes to each other and shit like that during that time. So my homie, he went to school one day. He in school, with the juvenile guys. He sent a message over there. Who is B. Johnson? You know what I'm saying? When they broke yard, we on the yard, we by the gate. They brought B. Johnson to the gate. They like, this B. Johnson right here. I'm like, oh, so that was the nigga that was in the car with my homie. I know who Don is, you know what I'm saying? Get with him later. But B. Johnson, right? So I see him. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's who Dog is. Okay. Mind you, the last guy, I never knew who he was. I just figured out who B Johnson was, right? Okay. Now I know who B Johnson is. But mind you, like I said, by this time my whole mentality didn't change. Like I'm a different guy at this time, but I still want to talk to him because I want to know what the fuck happened that day. And it's no better to hear than the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? I knew that B Johnson was about to get transferred to our side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, he get transferred over here before I go home. I want to hear the story. You know what I'm saying? Long story on all of that. Just so happened he turned 18. They transferred him to our side. They put him in my unit at that. So when he came walking in, I'm like, they done brought this nigga in my unit. You know what I'm saying? Man, God will test you. You know what I'm saying? This is one of God's tests for real. You know, they brought him in. He instantly ran up on me. Of course, he know who the fuck I am. He instantly ran right up on me. He like, bro, I swear to God, let me start here. It was like, it wasn't my fault. It was like Dre was just on some bullshit. Woody woo, woody woo. At first, I didn't want to hear shit he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? But he like, listen. He like, bro, I got the paperwork. He like, I got the whole discovery. Don told everything. We didn't do shit. Dre was tripping. He hopped out. He was driving. He hopped out the car. He ran up on him. We tell him not to do it. Blah 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 blah. This would be Johnson coming at me with like he telling me his side of the story, but this is what I wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? So we sitting down at the table talking about this shit. He steadily telling me, he like, bro, before I go any further, I can go get the paperwork. I can show you. You know, at this point, I'm like, hey, I believe you. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me what the fuck happened. I can tell you lying. You know what I'm saying? Just tell me what happened. So we just sitting there, he telling me everything. And it was like, I felt like I was in the car with them that night, the way how he told the story. It was like I could visualize everything that happened. You know what I'm saying? And from that moment, I was like, damn, you know, it was Dre. Dre did it to himself. You know what I'm saying? I just had to let it go. And after that, you know, me and B Johnson, we stood up, we shook hands and shit. You know, I told him it ain't, you know, ain't no foul play. I was like, I wasn't there for it. I don't know what happened. All I know is what I'm told. And I'm like, you know, I didn't grew up so much since then. I'm just ready to get out and get back to my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it was what it was. You know, I wasn't there for it. I can't account for it. I don't know what it was, you know. So we pieced it out like that and we kept it moving, you know. Me and B Johnson, we was good the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no beef with him. You know, he did his thing on the yard, things like that. Me and him was cool. You know, I felt a lot better knowing exactly what happened coming from the horse's mouth. You know what I'm saying? So I got the full story on it. I was satisfied with that. Call it what you want, but that was enough for me. I moved on. I was in prison when that shit happened. I didn't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing I could do. So fast forward the tape. I walked down my parole. Well, I walked down my time in prison to get out for, you know, for the parole shit like that, right? I'm out now. I got a car. Instantly, I went right to Dre house. You know what I'm saying? On the block. His mom's still on the block and everything. Shout out to Karen. You know what I'm saying? So I pull up. I go holler at Karen. You know, what's that word? You know what I'm saying? I'm hearing that people feeling it different about me. You know what I'm saying? That I influenced Dre to do what he did to get him killed. You know, shit like that. You know, I'm like, look, I'm like, I've been writing him letters, you know what I'm saying, telling him to stay away from that shit. Like, I came to clear my name type shit, you know what I'm saying? Because Karen, that's my mom's too. You know, she the block mama, you know what I'm saying? So I had to pull up on her. She like, listen, she like, I got all the letters that you wrote him. She like, I seen everything you was writing him. She like, I already know you didn't have nothing to do with it. It was like 100 pounds was lifted off of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, thank you. It was such a good thing. We was writing instead of being on the phone. So she had proof, you know what I'm saying, showing that I didn't have nothing to do with that type of time he was on. You know what I'm saying? So we gave each other the biggest hug. She told me she loved me, and I'm always welcome to come through things like that. They accepted his death and moved on, and blah 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 blah. Right. So it was just all love after that. But the lesson behind this is to the YNs, if your OG homies, in these streets and shit, and they get caught up and banged up and all of that, and they telling you like, "Hey, look, this ain't where you want to be," or they end up getting killed or something. You ain't gonna see them again. Listen, listen to this right here. When your OGs, if they go to prison or some shit like that, and they tell you, "Hey, this ain't the life you want to live," you know what I'm saying? They ain't lying to you. They not lying to you. And it's not necessarily saying that you gonna go to jail. You might get killed doing that shit. And that's exactly what happened to Drake. He didn't get to go to jail. He just died. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna never come back. So that's the lesson, man. If you out here in the streets and if you out here in the streets doing your thing, just look at the guys around you. See what happened to them. They get locked up and they die. And before it can happen to you, save yourself. Be done with that shit because you don't know what your fate gonna be in the street life. It ain't no guarantee. The only guarantee is that you gonna end up jail or you gonna end up dead. Them the only two guarantees with the street life. That's all I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? How about that? It's been another episode of Roll Up a Poet. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured.